Hey, this is B from Kong's Arrest, and today we're going to be doing a top 10 things I hate and love about Stern Pinball's Venom. Thank you so much to the Stern marketing team for sending me this loaner pin to make some content on. Thanks to Captain's Auction Showroom for delivering this, setting it up. I've been enjoying this for the past month, so let's get into it. Let's start with the things that I don't like about this game. So number one, the playfield artwork itself. First glance, this was one of the busiest looking playfields of art design that I've seen in a while from Stern. The artwork itself isn't bad. Yeti is one of the best artists that they've had. I love the Foo Fighters artwork, but something about this from a Marvel standpoint in terms of a comic book feel, it has all the comic book elements, but it's just very busy to look at. The first glance, there's just so many different things. You do have to break down what each of the lanes does afterwards, but for me at first glance, I just didn't really appreciate the look and feel of this. It was just very busy in my opinion. So that's just one of the first things I noticed. I've grown to like it a little bit more, but it took me a while to figure out who all the characters were, what everything meant. So from the playfield artwork, that's my first dislike. The number two thing I don't like about the pin is the general layout of this pin is a wide open format with pretty much a fan layout, but it's not just that, it's actually the number of targets that are here. There's not that many things to shoot off of the flippers. There's not a second flipper here. Let's count them out. You have one target here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then when Doppelganger pops out, then you have an additional 14, 15, 16 targets, but this only pops out once in a while. You really only have 13 things to shoot at regularly throughout the game using the bottom two flippers. There's just not much variety in terms of shot selection, and in addition to that, there's a couple of dead post areas that really bug me. This center post right here, this target is something that you're shooting for to get to the bell tower, but this post here does absolutely nothing, and it's right in the center of the playfield. So it's probably one of the most common posts that I hit and bounces off and does nothing for the actual game itself. I've had so many dead balls just bounce off of that, go straight down the middle. Other things here, like just hitting things off of this side post or these side kind of parts of the playfield, everything just kind of doesn't do stuff. I've had balls where they just kind of bounce around and I'm not actually scoring any points, and it's pretty annoying sometimes. And so the angles and things for the playfield itself with those dead posts and the fewer shot selections, it's just one of the things that doesn't give you much shot variety on this pinball machine. Number three, the rule set and the gameplay itself was actually a little bit complicated for me at first due to the different various character options that you had, from Eddie Brock to Flash Thompson to Gwen Stacy to Peter Parker, which all have different attributes themselves. They also changed the gameplay field itself for the premium version of the gameplay. But in terms of what to do when you're playing the game, I couldn't figure it out at first. For like the first 20 games, I saw these flashing lights. I guess there are actual mini modes to complete, the yellow, the white, and the blue mini modes to complete, and it would light up these targets. But I had targets that were lit up and I didn't understand it at first. I know how to play the game definitely now, but at first I thought the rule set was a little bit complicated for people to understand at first, and that might just be due to the busy playfield and how all the different options are. But you know, most people will just start their game with Eddie Brock and not even realize there's other characters to choose from. Number four, I was a little bit disappointed with the number of toys that were on this machine, especially the premium and the pro versions, which don't have this doppelganger figure here, doesn't have this playfield here. You have Carnage and you have Doppelganger here as actual figures for a Marvel game. Everybody else is just character artwork. You have your main Venom Eddie Brock here, you have Flash Thompson, Gwen, Peter Parker, but you know, there's no figures else on the playfield itself. Yes, there's some kind of big mechs for the buildings in the back here, but it's a little bit disappointing that there's not more figures for a Marvel playfield. I know you're supposed to be playing Venom, so maybe it doesn't make sense to have a Venom figure on the playfield. And then the mechs themselves and the actual toys, you know, they're kind of small figures. The Doppelganger figure itself on the premium version, it's a really cool figure, but if you look at it, the main gripe that I have on this is it actually blocks the view of this right out lane in terms of the lights itself. When you're going through your different modes and playing the game itself, it's blocking the view of this white light here. And so when I was first playing, I was shooting from this angle here, and I was like, where's my white target? I can't see it. So the placement of the toys of the Doppelganger on the premium actually prevents you from seeing some of the highlights here on this right corner there. So it's a little bit disappointing in terms of how they implemented the actual toys. I mean, these fast quick locks, I'm gonna talk about them later. They're pretty cool, but they have exposed circuits on the side of the board as well too. So it's a little bit disappointing that, you know, they couldn't hide that just a little bit more itself in terms of the doppelganger kind of hanging out back there and blocking the view. It is what it is. I would have liked to see some more figures. If I owned this pin, I definitely would be sprucing it up with some more mods, maybe changing the buildings. I know there's a really cool Daily Bugle mod out there, adding some more figures. It's a Marvel pin. I want to see some more characters on my playfield. And number 5, there may be some long-term limited replay value due to the saving feature of the game, which is a highlight. I've unlocked 2 characters, Hulk and Wolverine, by beating Null. Once you beat Null, you know, you can unlock these characters. Essentially, you're beating the game. So I've beaten the game through 2 times so far. I just need to beat it one more time, and then I've unlocked all the characters, and then finally you can start playing for high scores after unlocking everything. So for some people, that might be a turnoff, because once you beat the game and you unlock the characters, you are now kind of accessing more options to be able to play the game for high scores. But for folks that you know, own the pin, it took me about 289 plays to beat 2 different levels of the game so far. So, you know, after a couple hundred plays, you might find yourself, after unlocking all the characters, you know, finally enjoying the pin and unlocking all the other features and achievements that the game has. But the long-term limited replay value, at least as a home pin, might be limited, you know, on location. If you're putting in a couple of dollars here and there and then leveling up, definitely has some long-term replay value there. But as a home pin owner, this might be something that you might get bored of after a little while once you unlock everything. Let's move on to things I really love about this pinball machine. The artwork itself, even though I was complaining about the playfield, is fantastic on the cabinet. Zombie Yeti's artwork style for this Marvel pin just extremely pops out, and it has absolutely that comic book feel for it. The character designs themselves are absolutely gorgeous itself, so huge shout out to Zombie Yeti for really making a gorgeous looking pinball machine. It's absolutely stunning in terms of the look and feel of it. Even though the playfield's a little busy itself, I really dig his art style. Number 7, the leveling system that was introduced with this pinball machine was a first for Stern, and an absolutely gorgeous implementation of their Stern Insider Connected platform program. This has been a huge game changer, being able to log in with your QR code and track just your high scores, but now you can save your progress, your leveling skills. You get different attributes for the characters as they level up, and they get a little bit stronger too. The levels stay the same across all 4 characters that you see there, so there's not much else there, but the more you play the game, you actually track your progress and level up. It's a huge, awesome feature that the Stern Insider Connected allows you to do. And with Stern Insider Connected, again, I just love the fact that you can track all your progress and achievements now through the app, so you should definitely check that out. All the different achievements they have keep you coming back for more. I really hate it when different machines on site location don't have this connected now. It's really spoiled me for future pinball machines. Number 8, I really love, in addition to the leveling system, the progress saving it does as you're playing the game has allowed me to actually experience beating a pinball machine game. Most games that you play from scratch, you're starting at step 1 and you have to beat the game from ball number 1 all the way to the end. But now with the leveling system and the progress save itself, once you beat one of these characters, Riot or Grendel, and then eventually up to Null, it'll save your progress, and this will become a solid light once you've beaten that character. Everything resets back to level 1 once you beat Null and you unlock these different characters. But that leveling system, in addition to the saving progress, it's awesome for casual folks like me that I rarely ever get to experience the ending of a pinball game. And so this is a fun way for us to save progress. For the RPG fans out there that like to save your states and everything, I was fighting Null for hours because I'd already beaten all the different characters, and so the save states for the progress was really cool feature to allow you to play the game, and then you can finally unlock some cool people like Hulk or Wolverine. Number 9, one of my favorite features on this machine is actually the quick launch mechanism feature. It's so simple, and it does have some exposed wires, yes, but it launches out a ball super quick. Anytime you launch a ball up into these different ramps here, especially this middle ramp all the way around, it'll shoot out a ball before it can finish its loop. So as your eyes are watching and trailing the ball, you gotta pay attention because it's gonna shoot out another ball at you. It keeps the gameplay super fast paced, and so I do enjoy the fast paced nature of the game itself. It does keep things not lagging for it to kind of finish a ramp shot and everything. I do wish it was a little bit cleaner and tidier back there, but the ball locking mechanism as well for multi-ball is really cool. You can lock up to 6 balls on these quick launches through Mayhem multi-ball by hitting the launch button to save your ball. And so you can do a 6 multi-ball pretty easily once you get there. You can also do a Carnage multi-ball by shooting that up. So any of these green lights are locks. So that's a really cool feature of how they've implemented the Mech here. I really like the quick launch feature. It's really simple. This thing just drops, shoots a ball out super fast. I like the quick launch mechanism. And lastly, number 10, I was able to unlock some different characters like Hulk and Wolverine by playing the game for a long time. I still have to unlock Captain America, so that's gonna give me some options. So the variety of options to play the game actually is something I do love, even though it's complicated at first. If you own this game and then you finally figure out what to do for all the different characters, there's so much variety in how you play the game, how you choose to attack Noel and Grendel, and which path you want to choose to be able to get to the end boss game. Yes, that even Playfield Mechs changed to different type of ramp shots. You have that kind of scoop into a loop shot right there. You have a little ramp, you have a little horseshoe that pops up right there. So yes, the Playfield does change itself to give you some variety on the premium. That's not existent on the pro side, so that is a detriment for the pro version of the game. But the variety of the game itself, it will keep you coming back because now I want to be able to beat Noel as a different character. So far for me, Gwen Stacy has been my easiest path to victory to fight Noel. The reason why is that all her mini modes are right in the middle of the playfield. I have a hard time with these outlane shots there, and all the other characters have an outlane shot to be able to have one of their mini modes completed. And so Gwen Stacy is definitely my girl. The superheroes at the very end, Hulk and Wolverine, they actually require you to beat 6 mini modes to be able to fight the boss there. And so it's a little bit more difficult to fight Noel with these superheroes there. They have some extra power-ups, but maybe it can be done. So the replay value definitely can be there for you to try out beating the game various different ways with all the different options. So hope you guys enjoyed that list. Alright, so final thoughts on Stern Pinball's Venom Premium. Thank you again so much to the Stern team for sending this to me through Captain's Auction Showroom. To be able to have this at my house for the last month has been an absolute dream to be able to play this pin as much as I want to, unlock the game, understand the potential the game has, and remember at first glance, the things that I didn't like about it were all first impression things. You know, when I first reviewed this at Comic-Con about 6 months ago, you know, it was still limited code. There were some things that you didn't understand about the game. One thing was like the team-ups, right? The Miles Morales team-ups and things. They didn't even explain to you what those team-ups did in the game itself. You had to guess what it did or find a rule set. But the code has been improved and updated, so now it shows you on screen what each of those characters does. The code is definitely improving as the game has been out for almost the last 6 months or now. And so as a home pin to own this, it gives you that extra value to play it and actually play for something beyond high score. I think that's the biggest thing for me, is that this is the first pinball machine where I don't really care about the high score. I'm going for objectives to be able to kind of meet my goal and progress through the game. And I absolutely love that about the game, that I can focus on trying to beat Riot and then Grendel and then Noel. And that's the only goal that I have. I could care less about the high scores. Once I unlock everything, I think then I'll be shooting for the high scores. But unlike most other pins that you have, you're always shooting for the high score. This is a game that allows you to play the game how you want to. It can be frustrating. It can be a coin definitely muncher and take all those quarters if you're playing this in the wild, but you know, it gives you that extra value to be able to shoot for different targets that you want to. So I think I've appreciated that most about this game. I haven't even chased the high score yet. I've been trying to unlock everything, so I still have a little bit of ways to go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you again, Stern, for sending this out to me. If you enjoyed it, please consider giving me a like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Let me know if you like Mrs. Kongzuras, if you want to see more of her a little bit later on. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks, bye.